I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Douglas Ducote Show. You had many places you could be, but chose to be here with me, and for that I am forever grateful. We have a lot of things to cover tonight, and I'm going to try and make it quick because I'm very tired and I have to get up really early in the morning and go to Texas to take care of some problems over there. So I need to get to bed in a decent hour tonight. But before I dive into tonight's show, I want to share something with you all really quick. Let me downsize this for a second and bring up something here. Some of y'all, I'm sure, have noticed many times in many videos I've done before, this cross that I have around my neck right here. This cross I'm wearing seems to have upset someone. And they're using this platform, YouTube, to speak out about the problems with me wearing it, claiming that I'm not a Christian because I say bad words every now and then. And no Christian would do that. And by wearing the cross, it makes me look like a bigot. That's absolutely insane, considering that this same person claims to be a Catholic and goes to school every Sunday. And in his videos, also uses a bad word every now and then. Same words that I use. Now, I don't judge a man by the words he uses, if he uses foul language, or if he's a Christian or not, because that is up to them and their God, whether or not that's okay. And God will judge me for what I do on this earth, no one else. Nor will I judge you for being a Catholic and saying the same words that you're accusing me of saying. That makes you a hypocrite, one that is absolutely above reproach. This person also says some of the most horrible, outrageous things while claiming to be a Catholic about disabled veterans, about special needs, about those in the LGBT community. And the last I checked, of all things that could possibly get you in trouble with the Lord, actually attacking someone for their personal beliefs in a way that this person does, well, I don't believe they've ever read the good book. And I'm sure they're really not a Catholic. But regardless, I think it's absolutely disgusting. So, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell you this person's name. I'm not going to tell you what their channel name is, because that's what they want me to do. They want me to get upset. They want me to get pissed off. They want me to mention their name and mention their channel. So you'll all go over there and start trashing them. And I've done that in the past, and not going to happen again, because that's what they want. They want the clicks on their video. They want the views. That's what this is all about. So here's how I'm going to address this. All right. This is directly at them. So listen really close, and I know they are. They listen to every show I do. They don't comprehend what I say, but they sure as hell listen to it. This cross has been around my neck for 21 years. You normally don't see it because I normally am wearing a collared shirt and the cross is underneath it. But when I wear a solid shirt like this, you can see the cross. And I don't have a problem with that. This cross was around the neck of one of my military brothers who passed away in my arms. And his family passed it on to me. You and I have had several conversations in the past. We've talked on the phone. We know a lot about each other. And here's how I'm going to handle this. If you continue talking the way you did in the past 24 hours about this cross, there is a good possibility that a lesson will be taught in the coming days, weeks, months, not sure when. And that lesson will be filmed for the world to see live right here on YouTube. And when the lesson is over and the student is allowed to leave, I will surrender to the authorities. I will be back out on the street before you're out of intensive care. You are a horrible, horrible human being that says horrible and disgusting things about others that don't align with your views. It's one thing to be political and not agree with someone. It's another thing to say disgusting, horrible things about them and their sexual likes or their disabilities, or referring to them with their special needs as being retarded, or those in the LGBT community as being faggots. And now you're going after me for my religious beliefs. You, sir, are a hypocrite on a level that is subhuman. And whether you answer to me or you answer to anyone else, you will answer to God. That I assure you. That's all I will say about the subject. It's not a threat, although you will probably take it as one. But if YouTube does look at this video, I hope that they will then realize who I'm talking about. And when they look at the shit that you're putting out on pretty much a daily basis, they too will be disgusted at the subhuman, lower than snail shit person that you are. Moving right along. Tonight's lead story. Title 42 officially ended this morning at 1 minute after midnight. Therefore, allowing a complete invasion of our sovereignty by this current administration at our southern border. Over the past 2 years, Biden and his administration have continuously, and with no merit, I might add, claimed our southern border is secure. And if any problems do exist at our southern border, Trump is to blame. Well, President Biden may have quietly admitted yesterday evening what he and the White House have refused to say publicly about the worsening situation at the U.S. and Mexican border. Biden said Tuesday The border situation will be chaotic for a while as his administration works to restore order. But speaking with reporters the next day, yesterday, on the tarmac at the Westchester County Airport in White Plains, New York, Biden admitted there's been chaos at the border for a number of years. Well, we've had chaos at the border for a number of years, the president said before boarding Air Force One. We have to fully fund the border security effort, he added. Look, the purpose of what we're doing now is making legal immigration more streamlined, illegal immigration shorter term and moving in a direction that people know that there's a legal way to get here and not a legal way. Wow, who's been saying that all along? Not this guy. That is what's underway now. Biden was sworn in as president in January of 2021. At the time, Democrats controlled Congress with a majority in the House of Representatives and a tie-breaking control in our Senate. In the years since, the Biden administration has refused to use funding already allocated to reinforce the border, sued Arizona to remove shipping containers that help fill gaps in the U.S. border Yuma sector, that help fill gaps in the U.S. Border Patrol Yuma sector, former President Donald Trump Remain in Mexico policy and ultimately failed to extend Title 42. The Remain in Mexico policy has been reinstated. On Wednesday evening, the president answered several questions by the group about more than 10,000 migrants that are detained at the border daily and the upcoming expiration of Title 42, which is expected to cause and is additional migrants to seek entry into the U.S. He's also asked about Mexico's role in the ongoing crisis and whether he should consider sending additional U.S. troops to the border. I spent an hour with the president of Mexico yesterday. He's been very cooperative. Biden also said he and Mexican president were in agreement and that he was also supportive of making sure we have a way to stop in Colombia and other countries where people can make their case for asylum. When asked if Biden would consider sending additional troops to the border, he simply answered yes. The president did not specify how many more he would consider sending. The troops are there to free up the Border Patrol so they're able to do their job, Biden remarked. Biden also seemed to blame a divided Congress for not addressing border security. Look, I asked the Congress for a lot more money for the Border Patrol. They didn't do it. That's because the Border Patrol told you we don't need more money. We just need you to enforce the fucking laws that are on the books. And we need you to go ahead and allow us to continue to build the wall. They've made it harder, he said. He added, what we want to do at the border is have it work in a functional way it's designed to work. And that requires us having more immigration officers, more asylum judges, a whole range of things, more personnel. And I'm trying to do as much as I possibly can, Biden said. House Republicans say the situation at the border rests solely on Biden, as they have put forward the Secure Border Act, which would renew efforts to build a border wall, add more Border Patrol agents, and provide them more financial incentives to keep them on their jobs, because they're quitting in droves, especially after what happened at 1 minute after midnight last night. It would also end catch and release policies that Biden has put in place. During a Republican leadership press briefing this week, House Majority Leader Steve Scalise said Republicans have not remained on the sidelines in the crisis, as Biden claims. Most of the problems we're seeing at the border were created by Joe Biden himself, starting on the very first day in office as president, when he sent a message throughout the world that America's border is open by doing things like halting construction of the wall, reinstating catch and release, terminating the Remain in Mexico policy, the Northern Triangle agreements. Scalise continued, and so House Republicans, we said we're not going to sit on the sidelines like President Biden is creating this problem. We're going to actually do work to solve the problem. And so tomorrow, after Title 42 expires, he was saying this yesterday, we're going to bring H.R. 2, the Secure the Border Act, a bill that actually focuses on solving the problem so we can get back to the rule of law and have a secure border in America, reestablish a legal path to come into this country. More than a dozen immigration groups have called the Secure the Border Act a forceful and serious attempt to counter mass migration at the border. Once Title 42 expired, border officials became overwhelmed with a surge of 14,000 encounters just today. There are more than 10,000 migrants apprehended between Monday and Tuesday of this week, which was the highest single-day totals ever recorded, according to Border Patrol. Absolutely stunning. Another thing that's absolutely stunning, and actually it's priceless. Representative Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia, Democrat from Texas, took aim at a Republican-backed immigration measure today using a photo captured during President Biden's tenure as vice president and Obama as president that showed unaccompanied minors in cages to argue that the bill was extreme and wrong. The image, increased in size and placed on a poster alongside Garcia as she spoke from the House floor in opposition to the Secure the Border Act of 2023, was originally taken back in 2014. And that's been proven true by the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Columbus Dispatch. The June 2014 article in the Columbia Dispatch, which was written during former President Barack Obama's tenure in the White House, used that image showing immigrant children being held in cages with floral blankets in an effort to highlight the situation in crowded conditions. Garcia's poster that featured the image, including a statement, House Republican Child Deportation Act is extremely wrong. The bill is extremely wrong, Garcia said. The bill is in no way secures the border. In fact, it would only make security worse. It is an onslaught of asylum seekers and those who flee poverty, hunger, and violence, including unaccompanied minors and families with children. It exploits challenges on our border for political points and adds to the suffering of those who are coming to our country seeking safety and a better life. You couldn't make that shit up if you tried. While trying to slam Republicans, she used a photograph blown up right next to the podium of kids in cages, literally in cages, during the Obama era. Liberals turned against CNN for hosting a town hall featuring former President Trump. Trump, who remains the frontrunner in the 2024 Republican primary, sparred with CNN's Kathleen Collins last night over his ongoing claim that the 2020 presidential election was rigged. His involvement on January 6th and the recent verdict that found him liable for defamation against his accuser, E. Jean Carroll, who he continues to rally against, to the amusement of some of his supporters in the audience. CNN should be ashamed of themselves. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, reacted on Twitter. They've lost control of his town hall to again be manipulated into platforming election disinformation, defenses of January 6th, and a public attack on sexual abuse victims, she said. The audience was laughing. AOC continued, this falls squarely on CNN. Everyone here saw exactly what was going to happen. Instead, they put a sexual abuse victim in harm's way for views. This was a choice to platform lies about the election and January 6th with no plan. And the moderator didn't interrupt. Members of the media took to social media and piled on CNN. Unbelievable that CNN is running this town hall. New York Times Magazine reporter Nicole Hannah-Jones wrote, "What is the journalistic justification for this town hall at CNN? And how can justifying doing this without having your moderator fact check the constant stream of lies that were coming?" Excuse me a second. We're having some really bad weather here in the South. And that is also causing a lot of other issues with this stream. Trump is mocking Carol and sexual abuse he was just found liable for, called hanky panky, and the audience started laughing. Disgusting stuff. Hope CNN bosses are proud. MSNBC host Mita Hazen tweeted. CNN CEO Chris Letchett said he wouldn't allow anyone on his network that said it's raining when it's not. But he's letting someone own now who says it's raining when it's not. And he added hundreds of people to applaud when he does it. Well, it's also because Trump also said he never met this person and doesn't know who she was. And he was not found guilty of rape. CNN media reporter Alex Sherman knocked the network boss. The problem is not Kathleen Collins. The problem is the media establishment and the Republican Party that dictates this. Donald Trump did not deserve this forum. He was not entitled to a major media network rolling out red carpets for a primetime event. And it went on and on and on. A lot of bad words, a lot of foul language. Trump smoked the town hall and upset a lot of people. As most of you probably have already heard by now, the FBI did not comply with the House Oversight Committee subpoena compelling the producing of an FBI document that a whistleblower alleged describes as a criminal scheme involving then Vice President Joe Biden and a foreign national and relating to the exchange of money for policy decisions. Why? Well, because they believe they're above the law and can do whatever the fuck they want. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer subpoenaed the FBI for the document, which is an FBI-generated FD 1023 form, after a whistleblower from the FBI and one from the Department of Justice alleged that the FBI and the Justice Department were in possession of it and claimed it detailed the actual alleged criminal scheme involving then President Biden, or Vice President Biden, and a foreign national relating to the exchange of money for policy decisions. They said the whistleblower alleged the document, including a precise description of how the alleged criminal scheme was employed, as well as its purpose. The FBI said, "We're sorry. We're not going to give it to you." So let me sum it up for you. Just cut right to the chase. Why they didn't. You can see their own words right here on YouTube. But I'll help you out here. We, the FBI, are not accountable to any congressional oversight committee or the American public. We have the document you want, but we will not release it because it proves Joe Biden is a criminal and we refuse to do our job to hold him accountable for his criminal activity, the same way we did for Hillary Clinton. And you don't understand why we, the people, lost all confidence and respect for the Department of Justice and the FBI. Well, now you know. California's Reparations Task Force approved a $1.2 million payment to every Black person born and raised in the state. But California Governor Gavin Newsom has refused to endorse the plan and sign off on it because, number one, where in hell would they get that kind of money? The state's been operating red for years under Democrat control. And the fact that California never allowed slavery in its history to begin with. Never once. So now they're calling for the Golden State to issue a formal apology for former president of the United States, but then at the time governor of the state, Ronald Reagan, for coining the term welfare queen and for a disappropriation of a low number of Black Californians working as doctors and lawyers as part of a broader effort to make amendments for slavery and racism. Task force, which was created by the state legislation, signed by the incumbent governor, Gavin Newsom, in 2020, formally approved over the weekend its final recommendations on giving $1.2 million to every Black person in the state. Let's understand this for a second. We want to give not just $1.2 million to every Black person in the state, a state that didn't allow slavery, but we want you to formally apologize for something that Ronald Reagan said as governor, coining the welfare state, because you think he was referring to just Black people. He was referring to everyone, regardless of their race. He didn't care. He was explaining what was happening there and how people need to go out and work. They're also complaining that there's not enough Black doctors and attorneys. Like, that's the problem of the legislators in California. I'm sorry. For many, many years, at least in my entire lifetime, I'm 61, Black people in California and everywhere else have the same opportunities that I have to graduate from high school with honors and get elected to go into a college and become whatever you want to become. And many have. But just because many don't doesn't mean that somebody owes you an apology for it. That's absolutely insane. And that's why most of the world is looking at this situation and laughing. Anyway, you had many places to be tonight, chose to be here with me, and for that, I am forever grateful. Thank you. If you haven't already done so, please go to DouglasDucote.com. Also, check out in the description of this video and all my shows, all my videos. You can find other places on social media you can follow me. Please do so, and I'll do the same in return. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders and their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families, and our country. This Sunday is Mother's Day. Don't forget. Say hello to your mother. Get her some flowers, a card, call her. If you still have your mother around, it's important. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you next week, right here, Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. God bless.